before I jump straight into dreams, I want to thank everybody who commented on the different way I analyzed the first dream last week. I got lots and lots of feedback, emails, posts on YouTube, and so on, and comments sent in with new dreams. So it was a hit, so I'm going to do it again. But again, thank you for the feedback. And our first dream is from Olly, who also went on about how informative he found the analysis of that dream, or the way I analyzed that dream. So I'm going to do his kind of that style. I haven't broken it up into positives and negatives, but hopefully this will still work for you. So here's our first dream. He is on a farm with his mum. I say mum because that's what he says. He's in the UK, in London. They enter a barn and he discovers the wiring is shoddy and exposed, and he's afraid of getting a shock. Now, you probably already know the gift I'm going to mention, but let's have a look at the whole dream and see what else it's about. And he calls it Danger of a Shock. It's dark, and I'm going into an outbuilding on a farm with mum. It's a big barn with high ceilings. I grope around in the dark through the door with my hand, trying to find the light switch. Suddenly, mum warns me, "Don't do that, you'll get an electric shock." Then it's daylight, and I see a fuse box and thick cables going into it from the ground, and it's painted into the walls, and other cables coming off it. The light switch is under the fuse box, and there's a thick bare wire showing just near it, as thick as a nail. I'm shocked that this shoddy electrical wiring is like this. I say to mum that I'll fix it in the morning, as it's too late in the day right now. However, to make it safe, I use my Swiss Army knife to remove the fuse. I take the cylindrical fuse out and see that it is marked as 10,000 volts. Wow, that's high voltage. A little power light fades and goes out. I try the light switch and it's still working somehow. At least it's safe for the moment. Well, you know what I wouldn't imagine is safe is taking a live electrical fuse out with your Swiss Army knife. But anyway, it was a dream, so you survived. But let's have a look at it. I'm just going to go through it. You've heard the whole dream. I'm going to break out the phrases that you use in the dream. So the first is, it's dark. So that means when it comes to the subject matter of this dream, you are in the dark. You don't quite see where you need to go. You're on a farm. Now, you live in London. I don't know, Olly, did you ever live on a farm? But farms are in the countryside, and so they're to do with emotional expression, expanding our heart and opening up and so on. You're with mum, and so then she's the protagonist. We know she is because of how she acts in the dream. So it's all about mum and your issues with her and what you need to heal. We're going to see more about that. Yeah, nobody can ever just innocently be in a dream. You can't just have dad sitting in a chair on the corner. The way to think of it is, okay, mom is in this dream and mom expresses that there could be danger and so on. So she plays a negative role. But even if she was just there, a lot of people think, oh, well, she was just in the kitchen. The way to think of it is, imagine you're in bed with your partner and mum is just sitting on a chair in the bedroom. Now you see, it never just is, oh, the person's there, let's ignore them. You don't ignore them. Anyway, the big barn with the high ceilings, I'm going to ignore the barn. Obviously, it's elimination system, but we're not going to talk about that for the rest of the dream. But the high ceilings, what are they about? Well, they're good in a dream. They show that you have space to grow spiritually, that you can expand into this space. It's already there. So your life is about you expanding spiritually. Now, that's what all our lives are about. But when we see the high ceiling, it means that you're going to use spiritual gifts. Like people will look at you and say, oh yeah, Olly works in the spiritual field, or whatever it is. It's not going to be a hidden part of your nature. Then you say, again, another phrase from your dream, I grope around in the dark with my hand. So in the dark is, I don't know what I'm doing. Again, like before, and the groping around kind of backs that up. Like I'm not really sure, what I need to get a handle on. But with your hand, and because the power is coming up, all the electrical stuff, we know it's about hands-on healing. And so references to hands in a dream are enough to say that. So which is why I said, because of the power at the start, you probably know the gift, but we see it here. So it means really, if we put all of this together, it means I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to healing with my hands. And that's okay. Nobody knows what they're doing at the start. Everybody starts at zero. So trying to find the light switch, that's another phrase. We just drop a word from that and it becomes, I am trying to find the light. So that's your inner light, your inner connection to the divine. And then another phrase, Mum warns me you'll get an electric shock. And so that is pretty easy. That's like the power will hurt me. So your hands-on healing ability works through channeling power through your body, out through your hands into your client. And you're saying it's going to hurt you. And I talk a lot about why you would say that. But that's what this part of the dream is about. It changes to daylight. That's good because now it's, hey, I can see. And you even say that. It's daylight and I can see. So again, last week I split the positives and negatives. And normally that is what you would do. You take all the negatives and they're about, this is how I am, this is where I am. And the positives are about what you need to do. And so you look at the negatives first, then the positives, and it gives you the roadmap out away from all those negatives. So here, anyway, you say you can see. So we see this dream is saying that's what you need to do. And you see a fuse box with thick, again, your words from the dream. I can see a fuse box with thick power cables going into it from the ground. So one of the first things you do when you're going to use healing energy is you ground yourself. And this is vital as it allows you to dissipate your client's blockage into the ground for them. And if you can't feel that you're grounded, don't do any healing, as you'll just transfer the energetic issue to yourself. And that's not healthy. Anyway, we can see that Olly is grounded because the dream shows the cables coming from the ground. So that's fine. You know, in America, parents ground their kids when they misbehave. And that word comes from the same context as grounding and healing. The idea is that the misbehaving child will become grounded by dissipating their negative energy into the ground. Of course, it is now said backwards as if the grounding is a punishment. It's not. The restriction on movement is the punishment. The grounding results from boredom and doing boring, menial tasks. Often what a child when they're grounded is forced to do. But that's a blessing. Anyway, I digress. The light switch is under the fuse box. Again, your words from the dream. So this is saying that your way to connect to the light and your gift of hands-on healing are very close together. And I've seen this before for people. They're told, this is your gift. And this gift is the important one because it's going to open up all your other gifts. So this is it. This is what's going to turn it on for you using the hands-on healing. You then say there's a thick bare wire. Again, this shows your fear. Look, I could get killed if I touch this stuff. Or put another way, I could get killed if I touch hands-on healing. So why would Olly think that? And I said I'd come back to this. Because you probably did already get killed for touching this stuff. Reincarnation is just a fact, so I'm not even going to go into it. You have lived in times when people were put to death for using their gifts. You're in the UK. Did you know that the last person to be convicted under the Witchcraft Act in the UK was in 1944? Doesn't that sound insane? The last person to be executed was in 1727. So at least they stopped that some time ago. But not the arrests and being put in jail. They were burned alive, by the way. That's how that person was killed. In the USA, the last hangings, yes, plural, for witchcraft, were in September 1692 when 8 people were hanged in Salem. Why am I saying this? When it comes to reincarnation, the connected life could be any time in the past and doesn't even have to be your last consecutive lifetime. The barbaric nature of humans towards healers and helpers has a long, sad history. Jesus, still the ultimate healer for many, didn't escape either. Tortured and executed at age 33. It's probably more surprising that anybody offers healing services rather than people such as you are afraid to use your gift. Human nature has not changed. It has just been made illegal to kill someone for using their gifts. So the world is made safer for some. Imagine they need to pass laws to say it's illegal to kill someone for using your gifts. Anyway, unless you think that people are more enlightened, the USA boasts the best healthcare system in the world. Yet 20,000 people under the age of 65 die in this country each year because they are not given access to what is known would save them. For instance, many diabetics die at age 26 in America. Why? Because that is the age they're booted off their parents' insurance and they lose access to insulin. So if you find yourself arguing the difference between putting someone to death and taking an action that leads to someone's death, go ahead and tick the unenlightened box. Persecution is still rife. Less than a year ago, people were calling for the unvaccinated to be banned from grocery stores and restaurants. That is to be denied food. No matter what way a person justifies this in their own head, that is barbaric. You are a healer. Here's an example for that. Do you remember the frontline healthcare workers who risked their lives to care for strangers when little was known about COVID-19? They were lauded as heroes. Many died for their bravery. But the following year, tens of thousands were fired in New York State alone for refusing the vaccine. This isn't about vaccines and ethical status, etc. But this is what happened, people. Like I said, persecution is still rife. You were persecuted in a past life for using your healing gift. That's a given. We know that. I channeled it. When you consider the history, it is no wonder we put blocks on ourselves or our parents put blocks on us so we don't show the world any gifts. I talked to Nadia in November about lifting blocks and curses. You can find that in my show archives at dream-analysis.com. But Nadia is speaking live at Ann Tucker's Wisdom Soup this Thursday. That's April 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'll put a link to it under this show on YouTube. But regardless, it is on you, Olly, to develop and use this gift in this lifetime. Now let's get back to your dream. You say, the bare wire was as thick as a nail. Well, this is kind of really a poor pun that dreams often use. And you use it a lot. You've sent in dreams before where somebody's black nails were fired at your back. Anyway, here it's about denial of your gift, with the nail being a really bad pun on that. So you deny your gift. And so how can you prove to yourself you're denying it? Are you doing spiritual healing right now? Are you doing hands-on healing? Are you? And I suspect you're not. And you've known that you have this gift for some time, a few years at least. More words from your dream. I'm shocked. Well, that's a pun on being shocked. As in, I'm going to get hurt by using this. Shoddy electrical wiring. More words from your dreams. So this is me, this is you, finding fault with your gift. It doesn't have a fault. You're finding fault so that you don't use it. More words from your dream. I say to mom, well, then this is about mom's influence. And what do you say? You say, I'll fix it in the morning. It's too late in the day. And the way to translate this one is, I might wait until my next life to work on this issue. Why? The direct connection is made to mom because this is your promise to mom. This will please her. Putting my gift on hold will please her. Now you know why it's important to work on mom. More words. Swiss Army knife. This is my regimented thinking. That's what an army is about. My regimented thinking of non-confrontation with mom. And I say non-confrontation because the Swiss Army do not take sides in a war. They avoid conflict. And they said they will always do that unless they're directly attacked. So the Swiss Army knife, translated, means my regimented thinking prevents me from confrontation with mom. So then you want to remove the fuse. Why? Don't do that. Don't do that. That's, of course, we know why you want to do it. That's you disabling your own ability. Now, we can't do that. We can't disable our abilities. Over time, we can diminish them in ways, we can become unhealthy. We can, do various things. But in general, we can always recover the connection to our ability. So you don't want to remove the fuse in your dream. Bad idea. But you did. You say it's a cylindrical fuse, so you're also a channel. But we're going to skip that too. You say it has the symbol for 10,000 volts on it. And this is symbolic of power you can channel through your body. And you even say it's a high power. The numbers break down like this. 1, that's your individual path, something you're meant to do. 0 is a goal. And 10 has to do a completion. So 10 says that this is like the last big thing you need to do. The 3 zeros that make it 10,000 ask you to commit to this. That's what 3 is really about. You say it's high voltage, and so in your case, it probably represents your fear of the gift, but the high is a reference to where the energy is from. It's from the angels. Then you say a little power light goes out. Okay, so we don't like that. We don't like, so when you say it's little, it's like, I turned this off in childhood. References to small, bring it to childhood. Then you say you tried the light switch. So you are here to make a connection with the light. Well, the light within you. And that's what that's about. And then you said you switch it on. Switch it on just like you did in the dream. That's what I wanted to say. And it worked. You say it's still working, and that's excellent. So despite your actions, you are still connected to the light. And then you say at the end, at least it is safe. That was bad, because really you say it's safe because you took the fuse out and disconnected the power. So what you're saying is, I am safe if I disabled my power. But we don't come here for safe. And don't be satisfied with your action in this dream, especially when you say you'll come back in the morning to finish the job. That's your next life. And next life, you probably don't even need if you just do what you already came here to do this time around. So, okay, that's your dream interpreted, Olly, done in the style of last week, mostly in the style of last week. Let me know what you thought of that. Again, it takes a little bit longer for me. It's more fun. I enjoy it more. I'm not complaining about it being longer. If people like it, then I am happy to keep doing that. Thank you for watching this clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. If you want to hear the whole show, there's a link directly under this video. Please like and share with your friends, all of your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast at thedreaminterpretationpodcast.com. That's also where you can submit your dream to the show and have yours featured. You can also download my free dictionary that has thousands of symbols that will help you understand the meaning of your dreams. Thanks for listening.